Greetings and welcome to part 1 of the flute series using essential elements. This is our introduction to the flute. So we're going to start kind of right from the beginning. This will be a great review for those of you who have had your first or second lesson on your instrument. And then we'll go into more complex things as we go through. We're going to be focusing in your essential elements book, pages 2 through 5. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your flute case and you're going to put it on the floor, flat. Okay, nice and flat on the floor. Then you're going to open up the latches, leaving it on the floor, and you're going to pull out this. This is called the head joint. Okay, this is what we're going to use to make the sound on the flute. Before we start, I just want to tell you that the flute is one of the hardest instruments to start. As long as you put in a couple months of really fighting sometimes, you will do very well. Flute, the way most of my flute students have done over the years is it starts off really, really slow because it's hard to get a good solid sound on here. And then usually by about 4 or 5 months in, they're like, something clicks, all of a sudden everything goes really fast and they start flying by everybody. So just put that in perspective. It's a couple months before you get really comfortable. It's a large instrument. It may seem tiny because of that tiny case, but it's really large when you put it all together. Okay, let's talk about making that sound. First of all, I want you to take your finger, put it under your lip like so, and I want you to pretend like you're blowing a bubble. Notice how my lips are, they're kind of pursed. Nice flat chin, firm corners. Here's some things we don't want. We don't want this. We don't want this. Okay? We don't want this. We also don't want this. You're not whistling. Okay? Then you're going to take the head joint. Notice how, it's called the lip plate right here, one part is smaller, one part is larger. So the larger part is going to go on your lip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the edge by the large part there. And I'm going to put it where the pink meets the flesh of my lips here. And I'm going to put it on the hole on my bottom lip. And I'm going to roll it down. This is an approximation, okay? You may be moving it a little up and down, side to side to find what we call the sweet spot. But again, put that hole on your bottom lip low. Then you're going to roll it down so that the hole is here. We don't go, you're not going to get a sound that way. Okay? On your lip, roll it down. And then you're going to do that blowing the bubble, or poo. You might be able to see like this little triangle right here with the air. Alright, so that's the sound we want to get. One thing you can do is you can put your hand over the end. You want to go for long tones when you're doing that, the longest as possible. Whenever you get dizzy, and you will get dizzy when you're starting off, just set it down for a second, and then you can restart again. Don't pass out. Another thing you do is you put your hand over here. You get some different sounds. Another thing you do, you can put your pinky inside the hole here. I would suggest every day, not some days, but every day, at least for the first month or so, that you spend a good 5 to 10 minutes just playing on your mouthpiece, okay, your head joint. It's going to work on giving you fantastic tone. This is really, it seems so simple, it seems so, kind of boring even, like I'm going to just be blowing on this for 5 minutes or 10 minutes a day. But it's the most important. It's going to really help you get a good solid tone so that when we add the rest of the flute, this big thing out to here, it's going to be easier. Alright, so we've talked about the lip, rolling it down, poo. You may find that you get an anemic tone. If so, you may need to roll in or roll out a little bit. You can hear how it's sometimes I get it, sometimes I don't, depending on where that hole is. The other thing some kids do is sometimes the hole isn't quite lined up. So make sure you're really centered. A mirror is very helpful when you're getting those first tones. Okay, so we're going to assume right now that you're getting some good tones, and we're going to go into the next part. In your flute case, I'd like you to find this piece. Okay, the big piece. All right, there's a little barrel right here, okay, and on the bottom there's probably like a copper finished or gold finished right here, a little piece. So you're going to slip the mouthpiece, the head joint, into this barrel section right here. All right, you're going to put the hole in line with the keys, okay, hole keys. Then you're going to find, this is the foot joint. You're going to stick that on the end. And here's the mantra, thing you repeat over and over again. It's hole, keys, post. Okay? It's not whole key keys, it's whole keys post. Okay? We offset that foot joint. And I'll show you why we do that. Because when we start using our hands, notice that you're going to use your pinky on this key, and your pinky is the shortest finger. So if it's over here, if you line it up, then you're going to have to reach a bit more. Okay? It's more efficient to have that offset. Okay, that's why we do that. Okay, so we've put the flute together. Now we're just going to make a sound on the flute. So for now, just kind of hold it like this. And that same thing on the bottom lip, roll it down, bubble. Notice that I'm holding my flute straight out. Okay, I'm not like this. I'm not like this. And not like this, okay? Just nice, and that's going to give you your best tone. Okay, I think I better move my chair a little bit to the side to help you see things a little better here. Okay, good. All right, now we got to talk about what your fingers are going to do. So open your book to page 4 right now. I would suggest, if you haven't already done so, that you read pages 2 and 3. There's some great helpful information. First of all, let's talk one more thing about some posture. Whenever you're playing any instrument, we do a nice straight posture. We like to say feet flat, fanny forward on your chair. Okay, no slouching. This is not going to do you very well when you play an instrument. So feet flat, fanny forward. Great posture is going to be very important for your development as an instrumentalist. Breathing. We're going to talk about how you're going to breathe. You know how to blow. Now let's talk about how you breathe. What we do is called a diving breath. Okay? So you take in a lot of air. You fill up. Because imagine if you're diving into a pool. Are you going to go like this and dive? Or are you going like this? You're going to do the second one, right? Because you don't want to drown. Okay? So that big air. Another thing you can think of is a yawning breath. Because when you yawn, it's your body saying, I need lots of air. And I need it now. Okay? So lots of air. Your whole torso is basically filling up with air. Good. All right. So now your fingers. So this is my left hand. Your teacher may put some stickers on your flute. I know I do for my students. So again, if you've already had a lesson with me, you're one of my sweet home students, then we've already put some smiley stickers on here to help you out. If you have those stickers on, as soon as you're able to figure out where your fingers go without them, take them off. Okay. All right. So on the back of the flute, notice I have a sticker right here on this. This is where your thumb is going to go. Okay. There's 2 thumb keys. We're going to use the one underneath. Okay. They both control different things. And you will learn how to use this one later, but for now, just this one. All right. So I got my thumb here. All right. And then I'm going to put my pointer finger right here. So skip a key. And then skip another key. And there's my ring. Or I'm sorry, my middle and my ring finger. All right. The other thing is, look how kind of between these 2 keys, I've got my finger is slanted so that the flute can rest on. It's another contact point to help you hold the instrument too. Okay. All right. So I got thumb 1, 2, 3, and then on the bottom I have my thumb holding right underneath the second key. You're going to push down, and I go 1, 2, 3, the last 3 circle keys on the lower joint here, or on the middle joint, and then the pinky. The pinky goes right here. Okay, that first key. You're not going to use these ones for now. Okay, right here. So a mantra you can use if you're not using stickers is skip a key 1, skip a key 2, bottom 3, and the pinky. All right. All right, so we've got that. Look at page 4 at the very top in the orange box. It talks about a long tone. So a long tone is basically you hold a note for a long time. Okay, so number 1 in your book, it says the first note. Notice that you have note F. Notice that underneath there, it's a picture of the flute, and notice there are some things that are blackened in and some things that are white. So that is a picture of the keys we have stickers on, or where our fingers go. Okay, skip a key 1, skip a key 2, bottom 3, and the pinky. So for note F, Notice that you've got the thumb key down. If they're black, it means push them down. And then 1, 2, 3 on the top, and then the first one on the bottom, and then a pinky. This is your note F. That's what we want it to sound like. If it sounds like this, you're blowing too slow. If it sounds like this, you're blowing too hard. If it sounds like this, something else is wrong. Okay? That means probably spend some more time with your head joint. But that's the way your F is supposed to sound. It may take a while before you get a really, really loud, clear, resonant sound, and that's okay. Take what you can get. Keep practicing the fingers. It's going to take a while before your fingers are just able to automatically go up and down. It's going to take a while before you get that sweet spot. Okay? That's okay. All right. So we have note F. Now look at the note F there. Notice that it says note F. There's a note F in the little note head there. But we also notice note F because of the lines and spaces that it's on. The musical staff is made up of 5 lines, 4 spaces. If you took recorder or any other instrument, you might have learned every good boy does fine. Or every girl breakdances Friday. Every good boy deserves fudge. Elvis's guitar broke down Friday. Empty garbage before dad freaks. My favorite is elephants get bad diarrhea frequently. For those notes, E, G, B, D, F are the line notes. Okay, that F is on the top line, which is why it's F. E, G, B, D, F. The notes in between the lines are your space notes. That's F, A, C, E spells face. That's a way to memorize those notes. Okay, so number 1, we're going to play a long F. Then we're going to rest for a second. Then we're going to play another long F. So thumb, 1, 2, 3, 1, pinky. I'm going to play another one. Very nice. Number 2 in your book is count and play. Look at the orange box above it. It talks about the beat. It says the beat is the pulse of music, and like your heartbeat, it should remain very steady. It can be fast, it can be slow, but it's got to be steady. Okay? Often we'll tap our foot up, down, 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 to kind of give you that beat. It also talks in that orange box about notes and rests. So it says notes tell us how high or low to play by their placement on the line or space of the music staff, and how long to play by their shape. Rests tell us to count silent beats. Okay, simply put, notes are beats of sound, rests are beats of silence. Okay, they show you a picture of a quarter note, which is 1 beat of sound, and then a quarter rest, that little squiggle, which is 1 beat of silence. So number 2 is count and play. We have 4 quarter note Fs, then we rest for 4 beats, and then we have 4 more quarter note Fs. Let's try this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 3 in your book is a new note. In that orange little box there, it has an E with a little B next to it. That's a flat symbol. So notes can be natural, without any symbol on it, or it can be flat with that, or sharp, which you won't see for a long time in this book. Okay? So this note is officially called E flat. We'll probably just be calling it E for a while because we don't learn a different kind of E until later, and it's easier when you're singing stuff to say E, E instead of E flat, E flat, E flat. But this is E flat officially. Notice that every single key that we have is pushed down except the first one. I like to call this the nose picker because it's closest to your nose. Okay? So here is your E flat. We'll play another one. Number 4, two's a team. This gets a little tricky because now we're switching notes. And that can be hard for a beginning player to just kind of figure out where your fingers go. Keep at it, practice it every day, and you will do fantastic, I'm sure. So number 4, two's a team. We start off with 4 quarter note E flats. Then we rest for 4 beats. And then we play 4 quarter note Fs. So we have to switch E flat to F. So it might be a good idea just to spend some time practicing going between there. E flat, F. E flat, F. E flat, F. Here we go. Number 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 5 in your book is note D. Notice that note D underneath the fingering is the exact same as E flat, except you pull off the pinky. So your nose picker and your pinky. You can think of this as your goalpost note. Okay? Here's what a D sounds like. And let's do another one. Number 6, moving on up, is utilizing D, E flat, and F. So let's go through it. We have D, 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 rest, rest, rest. And you stay on D, 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 then it switches to E flat. So all I have to do is add your pinky, E, E, and then the jump to the F. Okay? So I think the hardest part is just that E flat to the F. Because going from D to E flat, it's just a pinky away. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Page 5 in your Essential Elements book, at the very top, in the orange box, it talks about a double bar. So a double bar indicates the end of a piece of music. Congratulations, you have finished the song. If you look at the next time, we have a repeat sign, and that's the same as a double bar, except there's 2 little dots next to it. That means play it again. So number 7, the long haul, we're learning a new note C, but at the very end, you notice there's a double bar. It means you play it once. So the C is the exact opposite of D. So D was everything but the goalposts. 7 is just the goalpost. Even you got to pull that thumb off, okay? So it's just pointer and pinky are the only things that are being played. Now, what I like to do is, often when I'm working with elementary students, is I'll pull my fingers way off so you can see my fingering. But the best thing to do if when you're the one playing is to keep your fingers over those keys so that they can just go up and down, okay? Instead of wildly moving all over the place. So I just wanted to take a little moment to explain that. Good. So that's our C. Number 8 is 4x4. This is using C, D, E, and F. Notice at the very end of number 8, we have a repeat sign, the double bar and the double dot. So we're going to play this one twice. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, repeat. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Number 9, touchdown, is B flat. And that little B next to the B means B flat. Okay? So this is thumb 1, 1 pinky, you can see in the picture. So thumb 1, 1 pinky. If it sounds like this, you're blowing too hard. That's our B flat. Number 10 is the Fab 5. Notice that there's a repeat sign in this one, so we're going to do it twice. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, repeat. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. These will be going rather slow when you're first starting. It's okay if you can't keep up with me right now. Just keep practicing and eventually you'll be able to go my speed. I don't want to take them too slow for the purposes of the video, simply because we don't want to have a 45-minute video. We want to keep it fairly short and just give you an idea of what the expectation is that you'll eventually be able to do on your instrument. Okay, let's look at the orange box underneath number 10 now. First thing it talks about is a treble clef. It indicates the position of note names on a musical staff. Second line is G. All that means is that you get to use the Every Good Boy Does Fine and the space face, F-A-C-E. Other instruments like trombone, baritone, and tuba, and bass, they're going to be using something called bass clef, which makes the notes totally different. Okay, so that's why they have the treble clef there. Flute, violin, clarinet, trumpet, oboe, you all have the treble clef, all the same kind of notes. Then it talks about a time signature. It indicates how many beats are in each measure. So what's a measure? A measure is a box of music. Okay, look at number 10. Notice that you have boxes of music, right? You have 4 B flats in a box. You have a C and 3 rests in a box. You have 2 Fs, 2 E flats in a box. You have a D and 3 rests in a box. I love chocolates in a box. Huh? No one's going to give me chocolate, are they? Okay. And so those are measures. Okay, we call each of those boxes measures. It's how we organize music. So back to that time signature, we have 4, 4, 1 4 over another 4. So the top number is the most important. Don't worry about the bottom for now. We'll talk about that later. The top number tells you how many beats are in each measure, how many things are in each measure. Okay, so 4, 4 means there's 4 beats in every measure. Looking at back to number 10, you have 4 B flats. 4. The second measure, you have a C and 3 rests. 4. Then you have 2 Fs, 2 E flats. 4. So it's the total number of beats, whether it's sound, whether it's silent, there's going to be 4 of something, okay, in every box, every measure of music. Underneath the treble clef and time signature, it talks about sharp, flat, and natural. So we talked a little bit about it. Notes are either sharp, they're flat, or they're natural. They're all different, okay? So F, of the notes you learn, F, D, and C are natural notes. There's no other symbol next to them. E flat and B flat that you've learned so far, those are flat notes. Okay, they have the little B there. You haven't learned any sharp notes yet. That looks like a little hashtag sharp sign. There's nothing right now for you in that, so don't even worry about it. All you need to know is that notes are going to be one of those 3, and let's say a B flat is going to be different from a B sharp, and a B sharp and B flat are going to be different from a B natural. They're all different notes. Okay, we'll talk more about that as we get more notes under your belt. In the orange box, we also talk about note names. It says each note name is on a line or space of the staff. These note names are indicated by the treble clef. So that chart basically is showing you what we already talked about. E, G, B, D, F for the lines, F, A, C, E for the spaces, and then the first 2 notes on there, you see there's a little C and a little D hanging out there that we didn't talk about. You can expand the staff downwards or upwards with ledger lines. Okay, so we're not going to learn those notes for a while, so don't worry about it too much. One thing to note about notes is that the higher you go on the musical staff, the higher the pitch is going to sound. The lower it is, the lower. Notice that B flat is lower on the staff and lower sounding than the F. That's how that works. Good. Number 11, 12, and 13 in your books are different because they're not going to put the note names in the notes any longer. You have to know what the note is just by its placement on the musical staff. Now, I understand you're just trying to get a sound on this thing. You're trying to figure out how to hold this thing, and you're probably, 8, 9, 10 or so years old if you're one of my students, and you've got this long thing hanging out here, and you're trying to hold it up and find this and make a sound and figure out your fingers all at the same time. I get that. So when you're first starting out on flute, I'm going to let you write your notes in. I'm going to have you write your notes in, not me. So 11, 12, and 13, if you haven't done so already, I would encourage you to take a pencil and write your notes in on those. And then you can check them. Because in another couple seconds, I'm going to tell you what the notes are. But I want you to try first. It's more important that you do it yourself and that we know that you can do it than it is to get the right answer. Okay, the learning and being able to do it is much more important than having the right notes. Okay, so we'll give you a second to write those in. Pause. Nope. Okay, here we go. Here's number 11. The notes are B, 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 C, rest, 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 F, F, E, E, D, rest, rest, repeat. Number 12 is D, D, C, C, B, 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 rest, F, F, E, E, D, C, B, rest. 13, they gave you the first 3. B, C, D, E, F, 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 rest. D, E, D, C, B, D, B. So let's play these. All of them have repeat signs. Here's number 11. Rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, repeat. rest, rest, rest. Rest, rest, rest. Number 12 is First Flight, also with repeat signs, starting on D. Repeat. Rest. Rest. Here's number 13, starting on B flat. Repeat. Rest. There you have it, the introduction to flute. The next video is going to start focusing on the white belt for band karate. Now, just so you know, what we did in this little almost 30-minute video takes you through a good, probably 5-6 weeks usually of band lessons. Okay, so if you're struggling on this, take time, work on it, work on that head joint. Remember, every day. To get those fantastic sounds. And when you're ready, we'll get you going on white belt. Have a great day.